Adding a couple things to my graphics, you know, so that I could have all this stuff professional and ready to go. Uh, Good morning, Diana Lisa Robinson. Nice to see you in the chat. It looks like you were the only one today. Hopefully that doesn't mean that I did something wrong, like made this members only live stream accidentally. I don't think I did that, but hopefully that is not the case. I have certainly made other mistakes before. In this morning's live stream, if you saw the thumbnail and read the description, I'm going to be using a bunch of these Retro Supply Co. different like smart Photoshop files and action sets that they've made that you can use to like add all kinds of like vintage or like printmaking or analog aesthetic to your work super easily. And they're so much fun to play with, and I wanted to make a reason to play with them some more. So I thought I would demo some of them and play around with them. I've been working on this new graphic that I used in the thumbnail, and I just felt like it needed something a little bit more. So I thought maybe some distressing, a little bit of texture to give it sort of like a vintagey look to match that funny skull that I put in there. I thought that would be fun. And then I just gathered some other images of mine that I thought, maybe could look cooler with some texture and grit. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'll obviously be answering questions in the comments as usual. Before we get into that, just a couple quick little things. First of all, I want to, as always, thank my amazing channel members. All of my super supporters above get their name illustrated and included in all the videos that I make while they are super supporters. Those big fancy names at the top are the VIPs. These are my new BFFs. That's the tier. They're the best. Everyone else is super supporters. Can't thank them all enough. Some of you have been members for a very long time at this point, almost a year, which is crazy. And I can't thank you all enough. There's been 2 editions since I last updated this, and I have not gotten a chance to illustrate your names yet. But I just did a quick screenshot so that I could include you in this live stream. Chloe Chia, I think that's how you say it. Thank you so much for joining. Shane, you've been a member. You just rejoined, so shout out to you as always. And Kath Ellis. So thank you so much for becoming super supporters. Thank you. A couple other things. Let's see. I added some new stuff to my shop, which I mentioned in my email newsletter. If you are getting that, if you're not, you should sign up below. I do not spam. I try to send out 1 a month. Sometimes there's 2 a month, but usually not more than that. Sometimes I can't even do 1 a month. But I post different stuff I'm working on. I try to put helpful information in there, all kinds of stuff. I'm also trying to do this thing where I get, I have people submit questions, and then I make like videos answering questions because I like to answer questions. So there's that as well. So I may start doing a video to go along with my newsletter. But anyway, one of those new products is this font bundle where I have 7 different fonts that I've made. These are all what you would call display fonts. They're not something that you would, set a paragraph in, but they're for making like graphics or titles or, whatever you want to do. But these are them. Some of them are more weird than others. Some of them are more useful than others, but I think they're all kind of fun, and I use them quite a bit. You probably recognize Wiggle Nation and Jiggler. Also, Chunky Lean is a new one that I made that I've been using in my videos. So check those out. There's also my gritty vector brush set that has been selling much better than I expected. I'm glad so many of you are enjoying that. Definitely so much more than I expected. I was trying to see if I could do some more vector presets, but I don't know if I will because you're sort of limited in how much you can do. I wanted to do like a clean version because I don't always want the gritty look. Like oftentimes I need a more clean line, and I do have custom settings for that, but I don't know if they're that special. But if you'd be interested in those, let me know in the comments so I know if I should make another set for crispy lines. I think that's what I would call it. You know, because Piascik, crispy lines. Get it? Get it? Get it? Anyway, I made a special promo code for my shop for people watching the live stream. It's just the code live. So if you type in live in the promo code section, you will get 20% off of your order from my shop, link below. I think it's below. If not, you can just chrispiascik.com and then click on the shop link. And it's got to be in the description. It's in the description. So use that promo code, get 20% off. And one more thing of shameless plugs. I recently set up a shop with TeePublic after they had reached out to me a whole bunch of times. I was a little skeptical at first because there's so many of these platforms where you can upload your art and sell stuff. And in the past, a lot of them were pretty bad. So I finally was like, all right, well, why don't you send me some samples and I can check them out. And they sent me some samples of my work on shirts, and I was very happy with the quality. So I said, you know what, let's do it. Let's put some shirts up there. So I think I currently have almost like 40 designs on there, and they're having a big sale right now. So all of the shirts are like $16, which is a pretty good deal. So check that out. And if you have one of my designs that you like a lot and you don't see it as an option, let me know, and maybe I can add it on there for you. Maybe I'll add what I create today as a shirt. So check those out. Let me check into the chats real quick. Tress Crawford, good morning. Triple my. Have I said your name before? Hi. Jay Quest, how's it going? Nisha Day, how you doing? Dan Cole, did I say your name already? No, I just read it first. Okay. Hi, Dan. How's it going? Mike Stitt, how's it going? Daryl, nice to see you. Scotty Digital, Kohiko, so many regular names. So nice to see you all. The Good Chad said this is the first time you've been able to join the chat. Thanks so much. Cool. I'm glad that you're able to make it and you're able to hang out. Diana Lisa, you said definitely 2 crispy lines. Thank you. Crispy bacon. Okay, so let's head over to Photoshop. Al, hi from New Hampshire. You are fairly close to me. I am in Connecticut, so you're right up there. Good morning, David La Ferrier, Star Walker. How's it going? Thank you for your recent order. I jammed a whole bunch of extra stickers in there for you. I assume that's you. It's a pretty unique name, but thanks for joining in on the live stream. And if you didn't order something, I'm talking about a different Star Walker, but I'm pretty sure it's you. All right, let's go over to Photoshop. Enough of me rambling. I also just remembered I forgot my water bottle. What am I going to do? Malawan, how's it going? So I think it's what the app I'm using to live stream doesn't show me some of the emoticons or whatever, emojis. And I always see the one that says person turquoise waving. And I always wonder what that looks like. I don't know which one that is. Leave it in a comment on the video. Can you do that? Or is it just, these are the comments. I don't know. After the video goes live and you leave a comment, it'll show up and then I'll be able to see it there. Okay, so this right here is a little bit of fan art that I did of Scumbug from the new Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem. Really fun character. I believe he's an OG character, but he looks a little bit more wild in this new version of the movie, as do a lot of the characters. I think the character designs are amazing in this new movie, and this is like sort of my interpretation of that. And I did this in like tight vector art. So this is what I was talking about like crispy, distressed lines. So like if you zoom in here, they're nice and tight, but it's still got that same sort of subtle taper to it, like a sort of natural, like a sign pen type situation. So it's like my VV Sharpie, but without the grit. So that's what I was thinking about doing if I do another set. So this right here is just a flat image. I don't have it set up as layers. And I thought that would be sort of a fun way to just show what you could do with something that just exists as like a static image that like you haven't even broken it up. So like some of these Photoshop actions that you can get from Retro Supply Co. Link below, those are affiliate links. You know, I got to do affiliate links to support the channel. I'm spending a lot of time on this stuff. Okay, so J-Quest, you said, love the early 90s Saved by the Bell pattern. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Star Walker, I'm glad that you are the one there. Daryl, you said you're ordering the cheapest paper screen on Amazon. That sounds like you watched my video where I talk about that. Yeah, I've been using the KTC paper feel. You can find that linked in my link that says stuff I use and recommend below, my Amazon link. When I bought it, I think it's still that way. It was like $8 for 2 screen protectors, and they work great. I also actually should mention that I'm currently working on a video. I already recorded it. I just have to edit it, where I went crazy and bought like as many different Apple replacement pencil tips on Amazon and like tested all of them and made a review of that. So look out for that. I was actually surprised by some of them. I thought they were all going to be garbage, or exactly the same. Most of them were exactly the same, but there was some outliers in there that were kind of cool. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Okay, so I mentioned I'm using these a couple different products from Retro Supply Co. today. They have all different kinds of stuff. You may know them for their brushes. Like, for example, the classic inker is one that I use all the time when I'm drawing in fresco with raster brushes. But they also have a lot of these like Photoshop actions and smart PSDs and textures that allow you to just easily give your work like a cool effect. It's not always just like distressing. They've got some like weird sci-fi stuff and like all kinds of cool stuff. But the first one I'm going to be using is an action set. So when you get, if you're not familiar with actions, when you get these action, let me just actually pull it up so I can show you what I'm talking about here. I can't show it. Hold on. I gotta change it. Let me change this so that I can show you my full screen current application. Okay. This recents. Okay, cool. So I have too much Retro Supply Co. stuff. Not too much. They're all great. Here we go. For example, in the mid-century print pack mega bundle, it comes with these actions. So there's like this Inkchamp one, which I've done a video about before, Perfecto tone. So when you get these actions, all you do is you just open these. I'm choosing open. You can just usually double click on them and they'll open in Photoshop. I'm not doing that because I have a Photoshop beta that wants to be the main Photoshop and I haven't switched it and I don't want to open it in the beta right now. So I'm choosing Photoshop. But then when you go into your actions window, you'll see it's right here. And to use an action, all you do is like select the one you want and then you hit play. And then it'll go through it. I'm not going to do this perfect O-tone right now because I don't remember what that one does. But that's how you load these actions. You can also make your own actions if you don't know about these. These are super helpful. I use them a lot when I'm doing motion stuff in Photoshop because some of the stuff can be tedious, but you can make it easy. Like I have an action to just like, you know, make 2 frames when I want to add in a new a frame that's two frames long. And to make an action, all you do is you just hit. So if you just like come over here, hit plus, and then you could do like anything you want, anything you do in Photoshop a lot, that's maybe multiple steps, you would just like name it whatever you want and then hit record. And then you just do whatever those things are. Like for example, I have this image and I'm going to go to image size and then I change it to make it smart. Like maybe you need to resize stuff for a project. So I make these smaller and then I go to image adjustments and then I, you know, do this sort of, I tweak my settings here, whatever. And then I hit stop. And now I have this action saved so that if I go in and open up, let's see, open up another image, for example, this one, I can hit play and it does those things, resized it and used that hue saturation thing. So really cool. Actions are great. They save a lot of time and you can do whatever you want with them. So I'm gonna undo that action because I didn't want to do that. That was just a little impromptu demo. Shankly Jones, how's it going? Al Lemieux, you said, when do you replace your tips? So I replace my tips when they get like, I don't know, they get flat. Or sometimes I don't even notice they've gotten flat and then they, like I've had them wear down to like below and then you start to see a little bit of metal in there. So definitely I just replace them when they get worn out. Or sometimes I don't notice, like maybe they've worn evenly and then they start getting like kind of glitchy. Like you'll be trying to do a line and then it'll kind of separate a little bit. You'll see it like stop and then start. So anytime it's getting weird, I just grab a new one. Oh my gosh, I wasn't showing Photoshop the whole time. Ah! So I set it to like, this is so annoying. I set it to current application and it didn't switch. Oh, let me quickly show you what I'm talking about with the actions, because I think it's really great and a lot of people don't know about them. So this is your actions window. You can get it from window actions. And let's say you have this routine that you do regularly where you have to, or not even just regularly, maybe you're like putting together your online portfolio and you need to like resize images so that they're small enough for the web or something like that. And you got to just do a batch of them. So what you can do is make a new action. So to do a new action, you just hit plus, and then we'll do like resize and color edit. So maybe this is whatever, something you have to do. So I hit record, and now you'll see at the bottom, we've got this little red dot showing that it's recording, just like a video type thing. And now anything you do is going to get recorded into this action. So let's say we go up here and we go to image and we change the size, we need to downsize this to 2500 pixels. So we do that. And then maybe we need to go to our hue saturation and we need to, change the saturation or whatever. We need to do this for some reason. So we do that, and then that's it. That's all we need to do. But we need we do it all the time, so we, don't want to have to go through those steps. So we hit stop, and you'll notice here under our resize and color, we've got our image size and our hue saturation thing. So that is now an action that we can do to any image. So for example, if I go over here and open up a different image, we've got this one. I just click on that action and hit play, and it resized it and did that color thing. So that's super helpful, especially for a lot of things. And on top of that, you can, let me see. You can put a function key tied to it. So like, you could just assign it like F3. So all you have to do is hit F3 and it would do whatever action that is. So if there's something that you do regularly, you can save yourself so much time. So yes, I apologize for the screen thing not working. So let's go back to my scumbug. So this first one that I want to show you is Photo Baker, which I think, yeah, this one is part of the mid-century print pack. You might be able to get it on its own too. But this one is really fun. So you'll see here, I know it's a little bit small, so I'll read it to you. It's actually, you know what? Maybe I can make this, I can make it bigger for the demo. Photoshop settings. How's everyone doing today? Just over here, trying to see if there's a way to make this stuff bigger. But okay, I don't know how to do it. I'll just read it to you. So under Photo Baker, there's two options, and they're both the same, but one says Photo Baker with instructions, and then Photo Baker on its own. So the only difference between the two is that when you do the one with instructions, it walks you through the process and tells you what each step is doing. So when you're first using one of these actions, that's really helpful. But if you've used it multiple times, you don't need the instructions, and then you don't have to, click through and read it as you go. Crypto on the Beat, good morning to you too. Robert Fulton. Actions are great. Eternal Watch Party, glad you made it. So let's go through Photo Baker with instructions. So obviously by the name, this is sort of aimed at like using it with photos, but you can use it with anything. And that's sort of the beauty with a lot of these things. Like they're meant to do certain things, but you can kind of experiment with them, play with them, and like combine them. Sometimes I'll use different ones that aren't meant to go together to get sort of interesting effects. The good chat, you said Retro Supply Co got you on Black Friday. Yeah, they had crazy deals. All right, so let's do this. We're going to hit play. So up on the screen, we've got a little window. It says, first, let's give your image a slightly blurred paint effect. Adjust the radius and threshold sliders until you have a subtle blur that smooths the details of your image, and be careful not to overdo it. So this is what it's like with the instructions. It walks you through every step so you know what it's doing and how you can customize it, which I think is really cool. Another thing to remember is that the defaults are actually pretty good too. So you could also just like click through all these things and it'll usually give you good results. But it's cool that you can customize them. It's not just like, you get what you get. So you know how Photoshop is with these little tiny preview windows. It's hard to see what's going on. So I just sort of like zoom in so I can see a little bit. And then, you can kind of play with these and you can see it's changing subtly. I find on this one that this isn't a huge difference. I usually sort of just leave them close to the bottom and like where they are as a default. Then I hit OK. Now it says next we're going to give some subtle brush strokes. This will give us a more illustrated feel. As I mentioned, this is aimed towards photos and we are using an illustration, so it already has an illustrated feel. but you get the drift. So adjust the brush size based on your subject matter. It says a person may require a smaller brush to capture detail like eyes. A slab of Spam may require less detail since it's just a block of meat with no fine detail. So really helpful information to show you like what these things do and when you might want to change it. And I think that's really important for this stuff where it can get kind of confusing. So we've got this window here, and you'll see it has all these, it's done a lot of stuff already, and you can see it's sort of breaking things up. So this is with the brush size maxed out at 10. So it was saying, you know, if you had a photo of a person, you may want to go lower so it's like not affecting things. But because this is already an illustration, I'm going to go all the way to the top. Brush detail will, you know, sort of breaks it up even more. So the higher it is, the more detail. It starts to fall apart a little bit as you go lower. I think I'm going to put it there. And then texture just sort of makes it even more gritty. I'll do that. So we hit OK. Robert Fulton, you said sweet hoodie. Thank you so much. I got this hoodie last night from my partner, Shayna. Sorry, my mic's in the way. This is my Phoebe Bridgers hoodie. Okay. So now we are rendering smart filters, which is also a cool thing. Like these are not destructive. Like you just turn these off if you don't want them. You can see in our layers, we've got our original down there. It says, okay, great. Now let's add a halftone. Print ads and packaging from the 50s often had halftones. Adjust the sliders to get your halftone size best to fit your subject. So you'll see here, as we move the size up, we can start to see these halftones, and you can, you know, you could bring them all the way up and make them enormous, or we can sort of find a middle ground. It goes like that, and then you can adjust the contrast to sort of see where you lose detail. So I'm looking down at this like area down here to where there's like a subtle color separation. So I just want to keep it at a point where that's not falling away. So we hit OK. So it's rendering that. So it's going through all of these different things. And if you had to like remember this whole process, it'd be crazy. So now it says almost done. Ads from the 50s often have an illustrated photo feel that define the edges a little bit more. So this is what we're doing here is simulating the edge of painting. So it says make your edges dark but not too thick. Remember, everything is non-destructive, so you can always come back and edit it. So that's what I just mentioned. So here you can see it's showing us this like edge. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So why is this being weird? Cancel that. I think I broke my Photoshop. You know what's weird? Last time I was doing a demo with this stuff, it got messed up in Photoshop. And it's so bizarre to me because I never have problems doing this stuff when I'm by myself. But here we are. Let me just make sure that it actually is crashed and I am not... Pantho, how's it going? Drilsa, thank you about the Escumba drawing. Okay. We gotta I think I gotta suffocate it. I can't believe that happened. This is what I get for updating my Photoshop right before the live stream. All right. The good thing is I got a new fast computer, so it'll rip through that first set quickly, so we can do that, and it won't be bad. I promise. Build files. Scumbug. Let's get Scumbug. I'm just gonna blast through and catch back up, and everything will be fine. Thank you for sticking with me. Photobaker with instructions. Play. Continue. I guess I should be patient, since when you look at all the different things it's doing, it's pretty wild. So this, we put texture here, we did brush detail here. There, good, okay. Thank you, everyone. How's it going? Let me know in the comments where you are watching from. That's always interesting to hear. It's always wild to me how people are watching from different countries and all over the place, which is nuts. Also, thank you, those of you who are subscribers. Thank you all so much for being subscribers. I had a goal of reaching 10,000 in the first year, and it's been barely over a year, and we are creeping on 30. I remember when I did my Stinktober challenge, and it was supposed to be in conjunction with hitting 20, and I was a little nervous because I didn't think I was going to hit 20,000. And now here we are, just a few weeks later, and we are creeping on 30, which is nuts. So thank you all. Okay, so there it is. That I don't know what happened before, but look at how cool this is. Look at this texture. And the cool thing is, since it made a copy, so we can turn on our original and see that, and then we can just toggle on this new one. And look at this. Look how cool this texture and grit is. And this is just with a static image. Look at that halftone and grain in there. Super cool. But I think we could make this even cooler by separating things a little bit. So let's come in here to our original and break this up a little bit. Canada, Robert Fulton, nice to see you. Boulder, Colorado, Jan Birch, nice to see you. We got Motown, nice to see you. Frankie. Yeah, so I feel like because this is already doing that retro vibe, it really sort of enhances that. But I think we can make it cooler by separating things a little bit. So what I'm going to do is break this up a little bit. So I'm using the magic wand tool, and I'm going to select the line work. And let's go to select similar. And I think it's being a little too aggressive. Let's bring this down. I think because my background is so dark, let's go to select similar. There we go. So now we just got the black. So what I'm going to do is cut this and then paste it in place. So now we've got our line work on its own layer. And now let's take the background. So select similar. And then let's cut that and then go to paste in place. So now we just have our background color. So we'll do that color, and then name this one lines. Spooky Pixel from Greece, how's it going? And Netherlands, Malawan, nice to see you. I already said hi to you, but hi again, and awesome from Netherlands. Okay, so now let's do the same thing, just using the color, and see what we can do to sort of separate this even more. So I'm just gonna quickly go through this with the Photobaker without instructions this time, and just do it fast. So I'm just kind of basing this on remembering what I chose last time. So I did that amount of detail and that texture. Hit OK. And now it's, and you can watch in the layers menu, it's making all these different layers and running all these different filters at the same time, which is pretty wild. And go like this. That looks good. Laura B, how's it going? Vincent, how's it going? And now I can adjust this a little bit more. Okay, that looks cool. And now it's going to run through that texture. So now we've got this color on its own layer, which is pretty neat. I think I want to get rid of this background texture that it put in there, and we can do that pretty easily because we have our background on its own layer. So if I command click on that, it's going to select everything on that layer, and now I can come back to my photo toaster thing, and I'm happy with the way this looks, so I'm just going to merge this down so it's like just a flat image. And now what I'm going to do is hit delete. So that got rid of that background. Actually, I want to get rid of the lines too. So we can do the same thing that we just did. I'm going to command click the icon on my lines and then come back here and let's just delete that. So now we have this texture just in our color, which is pretty neat. So you can turn that back on. You can see what that looks like. But now what I want to do is apply a different I want to do something different with the line work. So what I'm going to do for this is use a different product. So I'm going to go over here and open up one of their smart PSDs. The smart PSDs are really cool cool things where you can just sort of put your image into it and then it'll edit it for you. So I'm going to come over to my Retro Supply Co folder, and I'm going to use, let's use this one. So this is the Analog Ink Photoshop Smart Filter. So how these smart document. So how these work is if you look in the layers window, you'll see we've got this thing that says double click to add your design to Analog Ink. So if we double click that smart object opens up a new document. And here it says double click to add your design to woodblock number 1. So what we can do is just like turn off their artwork. That's just a demo artwork. And then I'm going to come back to Scumbug and I'm going to select all and copy my line work. And I'm going to paste it in here. So because this is a smart object, all I have to do is save this and then I can close it once it saves. And now if we come back to this, you'll see it looks wild because it's like fine line work, and the other one was like it was like a big solid image. So what we can do is adjust these different settings. So if you look below, you'll see Analog Ink settings, and then we've got different options that we can sort of turn on to get different effects. And I think what we're starting to see for this one is that this this line work is really kind of thin, and this one is more is better suited to something that has like thicker lines. So for example, let's try it. Since that one's not a good fit for this design, let's open up our let's open up my build files, this vibe one. So let's say, what would this look like if we take just the purple? So select similar, copy, and then let's paste that. Let's select all, copy, and let's see what this one looks like. So what we can do is paste this here, save that, and now we can come back and see these really cool distressing effects that we were able to make with this. So that's pretty neat, but we're working on Scumbug right now, so we'll come back to this. Let's try a different one. So let's go to our let's try the super grain portrait. So what we can do here is double click this and then come back and get our Scumbug lettering, copy, turn that off, paste in our Scumbug. I'm gonna resize it so it fits in here. Hit OK, then save this. And then let's come back to this. And this one has a cool effect where you can like reverse it if you wanted to for some reason. If we come in here, we've got all these different settings. So like this is the background texture, and then there's like the main area. So you can combine all of these things. So this has all these different effects for like the main area. So there's like mildew, wet ink, sandblaster. So it does this like vintagey printmaking look, which is pretty gnarly. And you can like combine and get rid of these things. You can, there's like a stroke setting, and they're just like a lot of fun to just play around with. And you can also like, let's get like a darker one. You can also come in and like adjust the how much it's actually affecting it too. So like you can kind of bring down the opacity to change that. You can also change these the way they overlap a little bit. Not saturation, that's not a good one. So it's set on pass through, but let's see if let's find. So what I like to do is get like a texture like this, and sometimes it'll be a little light, but what you can do is add in, let's see what happens if we change the, oh, this lets you change the background color, which is kind of cool. Oh, I like that. Let's just pick one. See, this is the problem with these things. They're so cool that you could mess around with these forever. So it's a little bit light, but I think that's fine because what I'm going to do is I'm going to like, I'm just going to like flatten all this just for a second. So actually that might be a little bit reckless because then you may accidentally ruin your smart thing if you combine it. So let's export this. Let's do a quick export as a PNG, and let's call this Scumbug Lines. Okay, so I'm going to open up Scumbug Lines, and we're going to mess with this a little bit. So let's go to my build files. Okay, so now it's just one flat image. So what we can do here is go into adjustments and then levels. And we can play around with this and like darken it up a little bit like that. So that looks pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to come back to my original Scumbug drawing. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. So we've got our cool texture here. So I'm going to paste this in here. This one was a little bit smaller because my image for the original Scumbug was huge. And I'm going to change this layer to a multiply, and now I can make sure it's sized properly. And the reason I wanted to do this separately is it allows me to like offset it a little bit to give it more of that like kind of crazy offset like print look, to give it even more sort of distressed look, which is pretty gnarly. So I think we also want a dark background in it again to really let this pop like the original. So I'm going to put these in a folder so that we can toggle them on and off. So the back one, the original was original looks like that. So let's take our background color. Oh, you know what? This might be good to use the which one was it? The analog ink, this one. So I'm going to paste this in here. I'm just going to scale it because it's getting cut off a little bit. Then we save that, and now we can come back to our analog ink portrait. And we've got these different like ink brayers to like, you'll see without it on, you get that like nice bleed, like it was printed on a printing press, and it sort of, you know, messes up the edges here to make it look more like actual ink. Then you've got this thing that will sort of intensify it and darken things. So there's like this ink brayer, this one, kind of like the subtlety of that one. Yeah, let's keep it subtle with this one. Let's do that. And let's go ahead and I'm just going to do something destructive here and merge this so I can just do it quickly. So I'm going to copy that. Copy, and then don't save. Okay. So now we're going to come back to our original. My file system has gotten completely chaotic. Okay, so let's paste this here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the white. I'm going to go to select similar and get rid of that. And then I'm going to get that purple color. And I'm going to make a new layer above that and then fill it in with the purple. And I'm going to make that a clipping mask so that this texture below, oh, you know what, but it's not showing through, because we got to change it to screen. There we go. So now it's the same purple color that we had. So that is good. And then we can decide if we want to change that a little bit. So let's turn on our other stuff, and now we can scale this so that it is the right size, since we resized it a little bit on the other one. And it's not going to line up perfectly because of the print, you know, overprint, like the ink techniques that it was doing. But I think that's, you know, that's what we're doing this for, because we wanted that to be that way. So let's come back to our original texture one, and let's make sure these are all set to multiply. And then let's just look at some of this crazy texture. So I think the line work that we chose is a little too, it's too distressed. So what I'm thinking is let's do a more subtle treatment to it, because I think it looks pretty good like this, but we don't want it to be perfect. So let's grab one other smart PSD that I really like, and that is the photocopy. This is the photocopy hate machine. This is a really fun one. So this emulates like bad photocopies, which is kind of cool. So this is the same situation where you've got a smart PSD and you double click this to add your artwork. So we can just turn that off, and we can go over here, come back to our scumbug. Let's close this one. We don't need that anymore. We got too many images open. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. And let's grab our line work, copy and paste, and then paste it here. You know, we can probably rotate it. Is it it may be a square already. I was gonna say, I don't know if this is gonna help me. But I was thinking we could get it bigger because this is sideways. So I'll hit save. And now when we come back here, let's rotate this whole thing. I'm going to rotate my canvas clockwise. And here we go. So I'm going to change this paper color. Well, I'm just going to leave, I want it to be white. And we can change the toner color, which is here. We'll just leave it black. That's what I want. And now we can try different toner textures. And I think this is going to work a lot better than the other thing. So let's first turn off our toner background and just do the texture within our line work. Jen, I'm glad that you're enjoying this. So you can, there's like some really subtle ones, which I think are cool. Like this one where it's just like the paper is a little beat up. I think I want to keep it subtle, but just break it up a little bit. So let's maybe choose that. You can also do like multiples. I like that this one's like messed up half of the way, but not all the way. That one's really subtle. And that one's a lot. Okay, so this is the toner background. So we can do some stuff with this. So we turn them all off so we can see what's happening. So there's like that. That's cool. I like that. I want something that's sort of subtle. I like that. That's perfect. I love this. That's great. Okay, so let's make this. So I'm gonna just do a what on earth am I doing? Quick export as PNG. I blacked out for a second there. Let's do photocopy hate machine scum. So let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. And now let's come in here and let's get our new line work. Copy this. And let's paste that in. And let's bring it up to the top. what did I do? Go up top. Okay. Now let's multiply it and let's make it the right size because my original is too big. And did I accidentally stretch? Sometimes you used to have to hold shift to resize in Photoshop without distorting it. And sometimes I accidentally do that. No, I think it's okay. So we want that like offset. Well, at least that's what I want. So now we've got that little bit of texture there. And I think let's just, let's try some adjusting the background color a little bit so it's a little less dark. So because I put this as a clipping mask, we can just do that to change it a little bit. I think that's pretty good. I just want to darken it a little bit. So instead of just picking a different color, I'm just going to go to levels here and just darken it a tiny bit. And I think this is pretty neat. I think the line work is a little too like pure black. So I think what I'll do is I will make a darker version of the purple like this, and let's fill that in, and then we can make that a clipping mask. And then we need to change that to screen. Okay. And now it's subtle, but you can see that line work is overlaying on the other stuff. And like, look at the detail here. Like, look at all this texture. Like, we didn't print anything. It's nuts. And like, you can see how enormous my file is, that it's like not pixelating, and all this stuff holds up to like the highest level of print. So we're going to do one last thing with this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to export this as a flat image, a scumbug. We're going to call it scummier bug. I'm going to save that. I'm going to take this up one more notch. So I'm gonna close this because we don't need it anymore. I'm going to open up another magic thing that they have. I feel like I'm just doing like an infomercial, but I really love their stuff and I use it a lot. And I think it's so much fun to play with. So they have these paper textures that aren't just regular paper textures. They're like paper with like they're like smart PSD paper textures. So there's we can find one that I think that might be cool. Or let me just look one more place. Really need to organize this folder so I know what's going on. Let's look at maybe we want to go a little grungier for this one. That maybe. Guys, I'm indecisive. I'm sorry. Hold on. Well, let's try one more. Paper damaged. This is okay. We're gonna choose one from here. That's the one right here. So this is from the Paperboy Volume 3. So these are what you think might just be regular paper textures, but look at this. We've got layers over here, and it says, add your artwork here, adjust ink levels, adjust texture. So these are really cool. So what I'm going to do is open up our gritty, our scummier bug. So I'm going to copy this. And I am Lumpy Pixels. Yeah, it does look like an iron-on for natives. Yeah, that's like the vibe I'm trying to go for here. So I'm going to paste, not that. What did I do here? Select all, copy, paste. There we go. I'm gonna scale this up here. So now what we can do is you could it like has built-in ink effects. So even if this wasn't textured, you would get some of that. But you can see it's starting to like show through some of the paper, like it's and then we can adjust the texture here on the paper itself. And let's say you're happy with this, but you're like, I just feel like it's a little too like beige or something like that. So what I would do is we can make like an adjustment layer where we do a hue saturation on this, and then we could sort of just pull down that saturation a little bit so that it gives us more of that like purpley blue stuff that we were originally had, and not that like yellowy. And we could lighten it up a little bit and still get that texture that we had. So you can see we've toggled that on and off. We've got this look, and that is pretty cool, I have to say. And like you could see all of that paper texture in there, and like look at this. Let's just for fun, let's go ahead and open up the original and get it in here. So let's paste that above. So we like none of this, like if you look at the details here, it's all just nice and perfect and clean. And like look at how wild this got. Like look at the way the colors overlap there. And like we didn't do anything. We just like ran it through some filters. Isn't that nuts? Tabitha, you said I wish they didn't change that. The shift, when you in Photoshop, when you hold shift, yeah, it's frustrating because like I spent my life remembering that. And then when it went away, it's hard to break that habit. So I really love this. But I haven't even played with the thing that I wanted to play with, the other illustration that I was doing. So let's let me save a copy of this. So because I like the way it came out. Scummier bug paper. Okay, we can close that. Let's reset here. We got too much stuff going on. Okay. Don't save. Don't save. Don't save. Okay. I have too many demos that I was thinking about doing. All right, so this is the graphic that I've been working on, which I think is kind of funny. I have drawn this phrase before, and I thought of it because there was the that Kendrick Lamar song, Please Don't Kill My Vibe. Well, it's actually Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, but the radio version is Please Don't Kill My Vibe. And I thought it was very funny that like they changed it from bitch to please. So it was like just like the most, I don't know, it's just like please don't kill my vibe, which is funny to me. And then I thought of making it even more polite. So it's like, please consider my vibe. And I found this like vintage illustration of a skull that like I was inspired by to do this funny face of the skull, because it's like sort of like a spooky skull, but I also feel like it's like a silly spooky face. So that's how I drew it. I like made its mouth open, but I feel like it needs a little bit of something. I drew this with my gritty vector brushes to give it that little bit of an edge, but I feel like it could use a little bit more action. So I'm gonna try some stuff here. I have it broken down into color. So I've got like this purple, this pink, and this green, and then the white. So I think, let me turn on a background layer so we can see what's going on here. And I'll just make it like gray. So there's the white, and then the green, the pink, and then the background. And then I also have just like a black layer in case I want to try something with all of that. That one has the please lettering in there, and I don't think it should be in there. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. So I was going to try the, I'm thinking about using the Ink Champ smart filters, maybe. I don't know what I was going to try, but we can do those because those are cool. And those were recently updated. So this the Ink Champ ones are more actions, and there's options here for